a lot of people here within this city felt as though when I moved, when I walked away, that the movement as far as here walked away. And I told them, I was like, no, it's plenty of other organizations within Bay County that fight, you know, because my primary focus is Black youth. And there's plenty of organizations in this county that fights for Black youth, whether it's Save Our Youth, whether it's Judos, even the NAACP, to a certain extent. Like, it's plenty of organizations and plenty of individuals that, you know, they fight for our youth. Ms. Dinah Creighton, she's the vice president of the local NAACP chapter here. I think one of her main points on her platform for social justice is school to prison pipeline, and that's how come me and her, we get along so well, because that's a real issue for me. Also, knowing that from the moment your child hits school, because of the zero tolerance policy, your child is likely to be punished 3 times harsher than their Caucasian counterpart. And it's because of the skin color. Like, because, you know, little Rashad and little Timmy could be in the back, you know, smoking a blunt. Little Timmy might get detention at the most. Rashad, he getting out of school suspension.
Yep.
And if his out of school suspension is longer than 10 days, especially here in the state of Florida, that's your whole semester. And when you're in out of school suspension, they're not going to let you do your schoolwork at home. Your semester's shot. It's done.
That's terrible.
And it's just a ripple effect. Ripple effect, until those same individuals that were punished 3 times worse in school, they're now being punished 3 times worse in the justice system.
Yep.
It's a pipeline. It's a whole. This is, besides it being just a race issue, this is a money issue.
Oh yeah.
It's a real money issue, because I don't know if people notice, but the medicinal marijuana is now legal in the state of Florida. But it's taking them a long time to get things set in motion here in Bay County.
And it's sad, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm hearing from the political side too, they're trying to reverse that.
And they are.
That's really sad.
And they are. But if they don't reverse it, then at the latest September or October, before any type of dispensaries start getting built here, and then a whole nother year before those dispensaries can actually be open. And the reason behind that, or in my viewpoint, one of the reasons behind that is because if you allow medicinal marijuana in the state of Florida, primarily in Bay County, you're gaining a revenue maker, but you're losing one as well, because the main one that you're losing is the prison system. Because we get so much money per day for every prisoner that we have in the prison system. And I can guarantee you that 75 to 80% of the people, especially here in Bay County, that's locked up is locked up for marijuana.
That's very true. And you know, it's crazy. I said this on a podcast with James. I've been around everybody of every race in this town, because I'm being close to the military base. I've been very open-minded and all that stuff. I've been around all of them. Blacks, whites, Spanish, Middle Eastern, Asian, all of them. They're all committing crimes equally.
Mm-hmm.
All equally. Everybody is doing bad things and doing good things equally.
Right.
But that justice system and that prison system is full of African Americans.
And here's the thing. We want to focus so much on black on black crime.
What is that anyway?
Which
Crime is crime.
in itself is a ridiculous term.
Yes.
In itself, and it's a very racist term.
It's stupid.
In itself.
What about black on black crime?
Black crime. No.
Nobody yells out, what about white on white crime? No,
Exactly.
crime happens usually, it's going to go through people that's usually within your area status.
Exactly.
If you're a black person that lives around a lot of black people, of course the crime you commit is going to be around another black person.
But-
Same with white people.
And they feel it's worse within our community. But I heard it was a pastor friend of mine. We was having this discussion, and he was telling me, well, there were a group of scientists. They did this experiment. They did it with like 4 rats: mom rat, father rat, and the kids. You kept giving them food. Kept giving the rats food. And they have their resources. This food is their resource. After so many weeks and then so many months, you then put these rats in a confined area.
I've heard of this.
And the food rations start going down. Now it's not enough food for those 4 rats. And now it gets to the point where the adult rats are fighting amongst themselves, and then the adult rats are fighting their children, because you put them in this confined area with limited resources and limited things for them to do to keep them from fighting amongst themselves. I don't know if people realize, but that's really familiar.
That's the projects all day, man. You're a product of your own environment. And that, what you just said was a project, and they named the whole thing the
projects.
You think that's a coincidence they named that? I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but what you just said was actual facts. That's real.
Like this can be looked up.
Yeah.
Redlining can be looked up. They redlined housing districts in certain areas of the country. This particular area is only for people who can afford upscale housing, and then we'll put everyone else in this area. And that area, in those areas, are divided by a red line on the map.
Don't take his word for it, though. Look it up.
No, man. Redlining.
Redline it. Look it up. That's probably one of the number one things that kills black people when it comes to the justice system.
Right.
They get that little bit of weed, man. They treat it like it's rape.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in there with murderers and rapists because of these little green.
Actually,
nuggets.
rapists get set free quicker than that.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean? You get longer time for having X amount of weed than rapists get. Like what's that one guy's name? I forgot. Something Brock, the white guy.
Brock Turner. Yeah, the rapist. Yeah.
And then somebody
Yeah, like
who
3 or
had-
4 months after that, or maybe less.
And then somebody who has a couple pounds of weed gets trafficking charges and get 15,
years.
20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
That is, if you look at the history of ghettos and how those were created and the crack epidemic, you know what I mean? If you keep animals, caged too long in general, hamsters or anything, there's science experiments done on this. Whenever they get out, they don't know how to coexist, just like when they're in a zoo, you know what I mean? So
You're
at
just a
that
product
point,
of your own environment.
yeah, and you're literally bouncing everywhere trying to figure stuff out until you get back into a situation you literally just left because that's all you know.
Right.
And ghettos were created, by the American government for minority groups, you know what I mean?
So true.